Hello again, everyone. Deflect here from Firm But Fair Gaming, starting a new weekly review with Dio from Firm But Fair Gaming as well.
Hello, everybody.
We're gonna go over all the topics that we usually are gonna cover in the week. So we're gonna go through some events, some recent news, which will include any changes, buffs, class patches, all that fun stuff. We'll review the weekly results for the DPS healers and tanks. What's going on this week in WoW? If there's anything you got to pay attention to, as well as what we've done lately ourselves. And then any questions or anything else after, we'll let you guys put in the comments. And if Dio has anything else to add at the end, he's going to have the open mic at the end as well.
Oh, that could be dangerous.
So we are going to start with the events going on this week. And this week, as of today, it's a big reset for 11.0.7. And
And we're down for an eternity today.
oh, we are down for a long time. What do they have, like 8 hours or 9 hours down?
A full day's work.
For them, anyway. Uh, so going on to 11.07, there's going to be a new island to go to. It's going to award you a ring, which this ring has said to be useful until mid season 2, until you can get mythic gear or mythic plus high end drops. So that's good news. One less thing to farm.
Yeah,
We
for sure. And I believe it was you that was telling me that to upgrade the ring is just going to be a weekly quest. So that means minimum amount of work, hopefully, in order to keep something pretty relevant. With a max eye level of 658, that's going to be OP for a good while.
Yeah, it'll really add to the season one effects. But yeah, they did mention hopefully it's just one weekly quest. That's all. You don't have to grind it like you did the last one. We also had a huge amount of class tuning, but it wasn't. It was a lot of it, but not a lot done to it. So there was just buffs to a bunch of the DPS classes that were in the bottom, some minor healer buffs. They did miss out on two specs that were below Aug Evoker, which is Windwalker and Shadow Priest, which affects us both personally.
Oh, no love for the priest? Well, I'm hoping that the ring, I know we don't know a lot about the powers, but I'm hoping that there's a dot specific one that is going to help take Shadow Priest out of the bottom of the barrel and at least make them somewhat relevant, other than their PI.
Yeah, they're well. The mass dispel is a good thing too.
There is that. That's fair.
This was done in a previous video, so if you want to see the class changes, link will be in the description. We did have a few other patch notes, which was some big changes to M Plus this week coming in today, which is the crest changes. So there is nerfs to the amount you need to craft, plus you will be getting more crests and more crests when you deplete timers, which is always a good thing.
Is it really a nerf if you decrease the crest we need? Isn't that a buff in a reverse way of thinking about things?
Well, yes, yes, it could be that as well. It was
But this
nerfed
is
to the
great.
amount,
Like,
buff to you.
yeah, but this is great. Like it's well long overdue. The only thing they need to do after this would be to make it account wide so we can transfer it to all our alts. At this point, the Hall of Fame is done for ratings, so I don't see why we can't actually share our crests across different accounts. You'd still have to farm the sparks, so the next thing they need to do is, in my opinion, would make this account wide, and that would be a wonderful change.
Yeah, you'd also still have to farm the Valor Stones as well, unless you made that account bound.
Well, we should get rid of that as well.
You don't like farming the double currencies?
Not really, not really.
Yeah, I got characters that have too many Valor Stones and no crests, and ones that have too many crests and no Valor Stones.
Well, and if they make it account bound, then you still need to farm the gold in order to pay for the crafting materials in order to make your crafted gear if you're using all the sparks. So, in a way, you have to farm three forms of currency.
Yeah, that is true. And the nerf to some of the quests for the gold drop really hurt this expansion, where instead of 1,500 gold, you're getting 800.
Yeah, they need to replace the repair cost with the gold we get from some quests and make our repair cost a reward for doing some quests, and then everybody would be happy.
Well, there was a video out on a good idea for repairs. Quazzi had mentioned a couple of things that he would like to see to fix M plus, and one of them was a free repair bot at the end of a dungeon, which could
Oh,
save you
incentive to
tons.
complete it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, incentivizes completions instead of just depletions and just people leaving keys, and could be upwards of almost what 1,000 gold to repair sometimes.
Well, it depends on how bad your run goes, but yeah, about on average, if you're going to finish a depleted key, I would probably say yeah, you're around 1,200 to 1,500 gold by the end of it.
Yeah, it is pretty expensive. He did have some great ideas to fix a lot of the other stuff. The crest part he did mention as well, and that was before they changed the crest, so that was a welcome change. He had a lot of good ideas in this video, though. Said the 1.5 minutes off the timer if you wipe was just hugely punishing, and people basically brick keys just on one wipe, so that's unfortunate to do. And some of the other one was that it is too expensive to run as flask food, enchants, weapon oils, runes. Everything's really, really expensive.
Yeah, the 50 gold at the end is just mind-boggling. You go through a normal dungeon, and the amount of goods you get from being able to just loot things and pick it up and sell it is easily at least 75 gold, probably if not more. And I don't know why it is so cheap. Like it should be, I don't know, at least give us 250 or something decent, or make our repairs free and then give us a 50 gold, and then because you're just going broke just from trying to play the game. We already pay to play it, and now we're almost to the point where we have to buy gold in order to just keep playing the game. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a lot of farming that needs to be done to keep up with the gold, or you have to be really good on the auction house. Neither of which I am.
I don't
He,
have that kind of time.
he did mention some other things, which I'm sure we've all noticed in the game: the lack of tanks and lack of healers. Um, that was brought on by the tank changes at the beginning, where they thought they would try and smooth out the tank damage instead of making it spiky, which was definitely an epic fail on their part. It is not smooth, and you can die to 4 white hits or 3 white hits while grouping mobs. It's crazy how spiky it is. And
I'll
you,
have to take your word from it. I am not a tank, so.
but you do play a healer,
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
and I'm sure you've noticed that there is keys that require quite a bit of healing.
That is definitely true. It is more. I'd say it's one of the more stressful seasons. Not the most stressful, but one of the more ones in the recent seasons, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the tank part, I've done both. Like I do heal and tank. The tanking is even at the beginning of the season was crazy. It was you're just getting one shot by white hits, and it feels bad when that happens. It definitely feels bad.
Especially if you're in a 7+. The tank goes down, it's pretty much guaranteed wipe, so then you're gonna lose a minute, 2 minutes off your timer when you regroup everything. So,
Yeah, and
yep.
the other
Pain all around.
the big thing about the thing he mentioned too was the spawn placement. If you do wipe, like some of the dungeons are miserable. And Doc joined us for a great part. Um, yeah, the spawn changes was that was awful. Like so, he does mention you should have a spawn placement at the end of a boss.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like some of them, you're almost at at the start of the dungeon, and the run back alone is going to add like another 30 seconds. I get wiping should be punishing, but come on.
It's already punishing with the minute and a half on the timer.
Yeah, that's true. So it's double punishing. That's very true.
Some of them, you're almost another minute to a minute and a half run back. Like Grim Batal's terrible if you wipe at some points.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
and that adds on that point. That's why it's important that if you've got a movement CD and you can take it in your left tree, you should take it. And a lot of times when we run with pug healers, there's that movement totem. I can't remember the name of it
The
right now, but
Shaman, Windrush.
Yeah, the Windrush, nobody runs with it, and then like keys like Grim Patrol, like there's so much opportunity to use it, like moving from the first boss to the second boss, or after the second boss to the third, going into the third part to pick up ads. There's just lots of opportunity, which save you time. Like I bet you we lose probably 30 or more seconds a key in Grim Patrol when we don't have those movement things to help us get to the next area quicker.
Yeah, Windrush is definitely a good thing to have. I don't think it's even that hard to get to because when I play Enhance, I have it on mine.
Yeah, I have it on mine as well when I run. There's a couple other options that you lose out on, but I don't think anything that's critical. Not compared to the time saving that you get by having it available.
Yeah, having it
And
on.
then like also in Grim, like the first boss, you can drop it and help your team run from one side to the other if you get bad placements of
Yeah, that's
safe
true.
areas. It's very handy in Stone Vault, dodging the block that comes across and one shots people or getting from one vent to the other. To me, it's a critical talent that a lot of people miss taking, and that's just on shaman, but there's other skills like that. Everyone's got a movement thing that just helps out, and knowing when to hit it is always key as well.
Yeah, Druids have a great one too, and they can have theirs every 60 seconds now.
Oh, nice. I did not realize that.
Yeah, you do have to give up Innervate for it, but not many Druids run with Innervate, so it is very helpful to just have the movement speed. I'm trying to think if there's anything else he really touched on in his video that was groundbreaking. He did mention the dungeons coming back, why we're bringing back some shit dungeons when other
Did he
dungeons
not
are more played.
touch on the multiple charges of a key? I believe that's what you want to talk about.
Yes, he did. He did find it a little punishing for keys, just going in, doing a pull, and the key's bricked if you rip it, or if you wipe on the first pull. So he did mention that it should be, he said 12s are lower because 13 or higher are sweaty, but you can always change that to 13, 14, whatever. His idea was to have multiple charges, 2, 3 charges of a key, before it actually depletes.
I think that's a great idea. It was something that was mentioned last night by the tank that we had that
Okay.
we usually run with, Bowie, when he was mentioning when you do raiding, you can sit there and just smash your face into the boss as many times as you want to learn mechanics, develop strategies, and things like that. And that's one area where M Plus just really lacks that repeat pull ability to learn from it. Like when you're pushing high keys, you really can't make any mistakes. So, like, if you make one mistake, the key's pretty much automatically burned, and then you gotta re-level it up. So it takes you like an hour to get another key if you don't make the same mistake in the next key. So it's really punishing. So the multiple charges would be very beneficial. I'd love to see that change.
Yeah, I think the multiple charges is a good thing. I do think that, they could cap it. I don't know if they have to cap it, but they could cap it if he caps it at 15 or 16 or whatever. Um, yeah, the ones doing it.
I would leave it. Like, you earned the right to get your key to the certain level. You should be rewarded with a few attempts at it. Because, to be honest, like, two or three attempts, or even if it was five attempts, that still might not be enough for the average player to progress. The idea should be to reward 99% of the player base and not really worry about the 1%. They're already in a league of their own. Like, and the difference between a 99 percentile player, which is us, versus a 0.1%, player like the 99.9 is phenomenally different. The skill level is vastly different. So I think worrying about the small people who actually compete for the title versus the masses that actually play, it's okay if they're able to do with the multiple attempts if they are now doing 5 levels above or 10 levels above the average player. The average player increases from going from like I don't know, 12s. They're finally able to break out of the 12 prison and get up to 15s with the multiple attempts. And the pros are now doing like 23s or 4s. Like, I think that's still fine. Like, everybody, you want to move forward in the game.
Yeah, that is true. I'd be good with definitely having multiple charges on that.
And I
Yeah,
know this will be the happy medium. Like, I'd say 2 to 5 or 3 to 5 charges would be ideal. It's not quite my obelisk idea, like they had in Diablo, but I think 5 charges I could live with, and I know you don't like my obelisk idea of just constantly being able to. So I think five or even 3 would be a reasonable number. 2 is just too few. 3 maybe okay, but I like the idea of 5.
I think three would be ideal. I think that still gives you enough reward, but enough punishment as well. So you need
Yeah,
some
I, I,
punishment.
I think yeah, I'm aligned with the 3. Basically, you can burn that 3 charges in an hour. So I think that's what you should focus on for M plus, because that's why a lot of people do M plus is they don't want to put in the the 1 to 4 hours for rating.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. He touched on some other great stuff, so we'll leave a link in the description for Quazzi's video as well. It's about 20 minutes long, so have a watch when you have some time. Updated to the meta, nothing.
Yeah,
It's
no change.
still Hog Evoker, Enhancement Shaman, Prop Pally, Disc Priest, and then you can sub in whatever you want for Frost DK, Boomkin, Frost Mage, Sin Rogue, Ellie Shaman, whatever you like. Uh, yeah, that's all the same keys. They're all still the top. They all still have the same people in it. And what we got up to this week, I played a lot of Enhancement Shaman this week. Didn't realize how fun it was. It is definitely a fun class. Did a bunch of keys on the Monk as usual. I did keys on the Pally, the Evoker, and yeah, we went into some 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s on all various characters, except my Shaman, which is just a little too small for those.
Couldn't get there in 1 week.
Couldn't get there in 1 week. It did get to 600 item level, though.
Oh, there you go.
So that's 10s this week, then.
Yeah, 1 week away from 630. There you go.
That's right. Well, with the crest change, I might be able to get there quicker.
That's fair.
And how was what'd you guys finish up this week with?
We were trying to progress in some 13s with some people who haven't seen 13s before, so we ran into some roadblocks. Of course, the damage is much higher, everything needs to be much cleaner, and educating people on just stuns and kick rotations and the sort of things that help progress. So it was a learning week. I think everybody had some fun, but yeah, hopefully, well, this week when we get our rings. Hopefully that'll make 13 significantly easier, and then we can get into the 14 and 15 bracket. Because once you get down the rotation for the stuns and the kicks and just clean up a couple things, there's really not much more you can do to change things in order to progress. Because the routes are generally the same from the 13 to 14, maybe even a bit of the 15. Once you get beyond that, then you have to start getting creative and crazy. So that's a little bit beyond us at the moment, but we're getting there.
Yep. Unfortunately, the ring will only be, I think, 639 this week, so we won't be able to have it at the max level yet.
All right, I still got a 626 ring, so
I got
I'm
two of
still
them.
rocking a 619.
Ooh, that one hurts.
It's
yeah,
the ring off the last boss that does the damage, so I'm holding on to it. I don't raid,
I
so
guess
it's hard to replace.
Yeah,
fair.
that was a tough one to get in there.
Hmm.
Do you guys have any other discussion
No, we
topics you
didn't
needed for
see
this
any new
week?
text this week for dungeons that I was running, so hopefully, oh, as soon as we come up with or find one of those, we'll definitely share it. But I didn't see anything new this week in any of the keys I was running.
Yeah, I also didn't see any new tech. Again, it was just depends on the level you're doing. Some of the if you're doing below 12s, the affix can be a bit of a pain on some dungeons, but if you're doing 12s and above, you don't have to worry about it. So just depends on what level you're at and if you're worried about the affix or not. But I think that is going to wrap it up for the weekly review. If you have any questions, as always, leave a comment below, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Sounds good. Good luck with Vault, everybody.